My name is Olga. I'm the head of Toloka Crowdsourcing platform, and today I wanted to devote this meeting to share the experience and to inspire you with the use cases of how the crowdsourcing can be used in your business cases, and that maybe uh, these cases will inspire you to have some of the interesting applications in your practice. So let's start. A couple of words about who we are. Toloka is the crowdsourcing data labeling solution. We are originating from Yandex, which is one of the largest European technological companies, sometimes called like the Russian Google. And we have been developing the solutions for data labeling for the last like 10 years. And we have been developing our technology together with the development of the machine learning itself. Now we are not only the general providers of data labeling solutions for Yandex, but also are serving many companies all over the world, including the technological giants from the US market and from top Asian companies and many others. And today I would like to just illustrate you different use cases, and then we would have the real life demo provided by my colleague David, and then we would have time for the Q&A session. So first of all, probably you all are aware of that. In general, the AI industry stands on like three key pillars. These are algorithms, hardware, and the data. And while the first two have already become the commodities on the market and I would say equally available for all the players on the market, the data is still a major bottleneck and also the major feature that actually defines the unique aspects of your product if the product is powered by the AI. Because when all the other parts are like common among all the market players on the market, the data is the last frontier that actually defines the unique features of your product. And in general, I always say that like in Kaggle, you compete within a given data set, and there the solutions are competing like in an artificial environment, but in real world and in real business, companies are competing within the whole pipeline of machine learning production, which takes into account its effectiveness, the speed of development, the speed of evaluating and deploying new models, the speed and the quality of decision makings, etc. And those who know how to actually manage the data processing effectively win in the long run. And that's a great irony of the modern industry, which is called artificial intelligence, is that by how a huge extent does it depend on the efforts of people, of human, because practically all the AI solutions rely on data labeling at a large scale. If we look at the standard machine learning production pipeline, we would see that human efforts are actually needed at every step of that. You need humanly collected labels to train your model. Then you need human labels to validate the quality of this model. Then you deploy it into production and you need to control how it actually works in production. And then you need to constantly produce some additional labels after the model is deployed in the real world in order to retrain your model and tune it in order to adjust it to the changing world and the changing context. And that brings us to several very straightforward ways to improving the quality of an AI product. Is just more data is always better than the less data. The data should always be up to date because practically every solution is subject to some context drift within the time. So you need to constantly update the data you're training your models on. And the faster validation and new deployment of the model, which allows the business to move faster. And in order to achieve all these things, you need to know how to scale the data labeling production. And we at Toloka believe that actually the management of those human efforts is a purely mathematical and engineering task. We have the crowd, the pool of people who are required to provide quite minimal efforts from their side. And we treat their collective wisdom as, I would say, the yet another computing cluster. And using the API, we are building some pipelines which are effective on a large scale and are resistant to mistakes of single performers, and are able to scale like almost eternally, just with involving more money as the input and receiving more labels as the output. However, what is important personally for me, that the whole system is powered by real people, and we should not forget about this. And this is one of, I think, the unfortunate cases of the modern, I would say, AI industry, and the shameful fact that still, to a great extent, it relies on the efforts of people who are managed in such an old-fashioned and old-styled and in a way, I don't know, humiliating way, when people are forced to sit in some gloomy offices for 8 hours a day doing some routine data labeling jobs without no opportunity to switch from one task to another, with practically no opportunities for career growth and no opportunities to I don't know, get some additional sources of inspiration from their lives. We know, unfortunately, there are many cases when people really get affected morally because of having to perform such routine tasks without any breaks. And I personally believe that it should not be like that, that it is both humiliating towards people and totally ineffective, like economically. And we believe that it should be different, that it should be like the most flexible system where people are free to choose whichever tasks they want. They are free to stop when they get bored. They have free time to combine these data labeling tasks with, I don't know, education or their hobbies or their major job. And what is more important is that they have some sources of inspiration and getting their expertise from some major occupation in their lives, which then they later can apply the expertise in their professional domains into some tasks in the data labeling domain as well. And being an open platform as Toloka actually allows us to attract more performers to the system. And when you have larger crowd available for data labeling tasks, it brings you several good opportunities, because it allows you to speed up the data collection and make it a scalable process. It allows you to increase significantly the quality, because every task can be justified by several performers. Dealing with hundreds or thousands of performers allows you to actually apply machine learning and statistical methods to manage the quality. And having so much different people allows you to find experts in the needed domain practically for every topic. And also launch the data labeling projects in multiple languages and geographies, depending on the needs of your tasks. And in general, this is like probably some of you are aware, there is a very classical approach when you have some limited number of in-house annotators who are doing their job very, very well, actually, and you can afford yourself not to manage them very strictly. You can afford yourself to have quite a fuzzy business process. But the problems arise when you need to scale this process, and then it's practically impossible. It is too expensive and it is practically unmanageable to scale such in-house production to the industrial volumes. And this is where the crowdsourcing approach takes on. When we decompose the task into several smaller steps, we apply automation, we formalize every step as much as possible, and thus we have the process providing the same quality of the output, but the process itself is measurable at every step, manageable at every step, and completely scalable. And I'd like to share some pieces of our own experience from working within Yandex. Is that from we have started to provide data labeling services for the teams of Yandex Search back in 2008. This was probably one of the first applications, industrial applications of the machine learning in the internet sphere. It was the internet search. And for several years, we have been building such in-house team of labelers. We call them the assessors. And it was kind of an internal outsourcing company for the engineers within Yandex. And then since the year 2015, we have started to develop Toloka as an open platform where any company and any person could register as a requester or as a performer. And also what is important, that any engineer could set up their own processes for data labeling using the tools which Toloka provides. And this switch from being a closed, outsourced service towards an open platform provided us with the opportunity to make, I would say, the quantum leap in data labeling production within the whole Yandex company. It allowed us to grow substantially, both in number of projects launched and labels produced and people involved in the processes. And since that time, since the end of the year 2014, when Toloka was launched, we have been constantly growing, both in terms of projects and Talokers. This is how we call our performers. And right now we have more than 40,000 people who are daily paid for the tasks done on the platform, and the platform produces more than 15 million labels every day. And once we have learned how to actually cook the crowdsourcing and how to apply the techniques of managing the large amount of performers, we have started to apply this technology to many different domains, not only for data labeling for the search, but also for collecting data for the maps services, for setting up the processes of moderation, and QA testing and whatnot. Since the last year, we are actively expanding our business towards the global markets. We have opened the headquarters in Austin, US, and we have moved all our data storage to Microsoft Azure for all our global customers. And right now, I would say that Toloka provides one of or even the largest crowd in the world. We have the largest global coverage of different people and different geographies. And our Talokers speak all the major languages in the world, and every new language can be easily added if we have a client with the relevant demand for the new language. Like recently, we are just increasing the population of Talokers in Japan, in Arabic countries, and in many other places where our customers have the need in the data labeling. And throughout our quite a long history already, we have collected and observed the use cases of applying crowdsourcing to very, very different industries. We have touched practically every technological product and service which is powered by the machine learning. And now we have a huge baggage of use cases and experience of how to apply our techniques to the production of different products. And now I would like to share some of the use cases with you, because hopefully this can inspire you how such a tool can be useful for your business needs as well. Today I would show you a couple of use cases in different domains. In general, being an infrastructural platform allows us to observe the development of the industry and to observe some statistics on which tasks are becoming more and less popular among our customers. I would roughly cluster all the tasks and projects which are launched by different requesters on the platform into four groups. These are the collection of content, data annotation, tasks related to some business decision making, and human in the loop processes. So the content collection is a very popular task, and it's gaining its popularity. Here are a couple of use cases to illustrate it. Like very popular are collecting some speech recordings in order to train some speech technologies, like for example, voice assistants or it's speech recognition machines and etc. There are lots of tasks related to extraction information from the web. They are either the tasks related to semantic search needed to train or validate the models of automated extraction of facts out of the text, or some use cases related to extracting content which cannot be parsed automatically from different sites, like for example parsing the prices of the product in different online websites. Then there is a very interesting task that we have. One of the feature of our platform is what we call feet on the street or spatial crowdsourcing. These are the tasks which are performed offline in the real world using the mobile application of Toloka. People are coming to a certain location to perform some very small actions. For example, take a photo of the doors of the organization, or for example, find the needed product inside the shop and take a photo of how it is displayed there to monitor the availability and the placement of products in real time. And this is roughly how it looks like for the performers. We have the mobile applications both for iOS and Android, and in the locations where there are tasks available, like here, for example, in Buenos Aires, there is a task to collect some photos of the needed addresses and then to send these tasks to the requester in order to, for example, update the information about working hours of the organizations in the map service, for example. And here is the case study from one of our clients, the startup Neatsy, how they have collected more than 50,000 images for their app. The app is very interesting. They are developing the 3D model for trying on the shoes. And thus, in order to make it work, they needed to collect large amount of images to train their 3D scanner model. And they did a very smart thing. They actually did not, they asked the Talokers to take a short videos of their feet. It's quite a funny task, but they managed to collect several thousands of videos, short, like 10 seconds long videos of people's feet. And then they just automatically created the screenshots out of those videos, deleted the duplicates, and remained with 50,000 unique photos of feet collected within 5 days, and it costed them like less than $100 for all the process, which was quite useful for them, because previously, before they discovered that this can be done using Toloka, they tried to ask their friends and parents and whoever else to take short photos or videos of their feet. And of course, people were not very happy with being spammed with such kind of tasks, while in the crowdsourcing platform, it is a very reasonable and expected task, and there are lots of people who are ready to perform such tasks. Of course, if we speak about the second class, it's probably the major class of tasks in a platform. These are tasks related to data annotation, either for the computer vision. Of course, the booming industry is the self-driving cars, and there are lots of tasks related to image segmentation, both in 2D and 3D. There are tasks related to, for example, speech to text transcription, or NLP-related tasks like named entity recognition tasks for the linguistics, some validation of translation when people are asked to compare several options of translating and find the best ones, which helps to later find the best model of translator for the requesters, or the moderation of user-generated content, which is provided almost in the real time using the power of the crowd. One of the cool examples, which is very close to our own hearts, I will tell a little bit about that, about the making business decisions using the power of the crowdsourcing. For example, there is a case when the company is monitoring the mentionings of their brand in social media, and then they need to actually tag the sensitive analysis of those mentionings. And if a company is quite big, usually there are automated methods to do this, but they are very often do not have very high precision in their classifiers, and quite often it appears to be more effective actually to label all the mentionings manually using the power of the crowd to timely select the cases when people were, for example, unhappy with the service of a certain company. They were complaining in the Facebook or wherever else. And if we are able to timely detect that, and then the support specialist would reach these people and help them solve the problem. This is one of the very efficient examples of using the crowdsourcing in an almost real-time processes. Or some very fast way to get basic insights on your new product, or some observations about the market is providing some surveys on the crowd, like using, you can target different people from the global crowd audience and then ask them some specific questions which are interesting to you. For example, and this is how we have recently, we passed through the redesign of the whole visualization of Toloka platform. We used to have another logo and another design. And then our designers came up with several very interesting options of the logo, but the question was how to how to choose the final one. And actually there is a very powerful tool for digitalizing some subjective estimations. It is called a side-by-side comparison. It's quite often, it's hard for people to formally answer the question like what is good or what is bad about a certain object, but it can be quite easy for them to look at two objects and decide which one do they like more. And then after you collect the big amount of these comparisons from different people, you are able to create a final ranking of all the objects based by the subjective appearance of these objects. And this is how we actually chose our logo of Toloka, which you are observing right now, because it was chosen by our Talokers on the platform, and it helped us to make like a decision which was supported by the percentage of the votes given to this left logo, which appeared to be our winner. And the last class of the tasks is the human in the loop. Probably you have heard about this approach when the human procession of tasks is injected into the business process, when, for example, like 90% of the tasks are done automatically by the algorithm, and then 10% of the hardest cases are sent in the real time to people, and they process it, and then the final result goes to the end user. And one of the cool examples of such human in the loop process was built upon our platform by the cool startup called Handl. They are extracting data from the paperwork. How do they? So they are dealing with lots of documents with unstructured and sometimes even handwritten text. They have a special classifiers and models on their side which deal with the majority of the cases. But then when the algorithms are not the level of the confidence of the model is not high enough, they send these tasks into the crowd. They are using very smart approach in order to keep the security reasons. They are decomposing every document in a set of very small pieces, and every Toloka receives only a small piece of the whole document, and thus it is impossible to, like, there is no one person who sees the whole picture, and thus it is impossible to reconstruct the content of the original document which was sent to the human procession. And people are, for example, rewriting handwritten text and typing it in the digitalized form and sending it back. And using such approach, like the guys from Handl at first have been using some in-house solution. But while their business was growing, they had not enough powers of these in-house annotators. And of course, it took them lots of organizational efforts to actually manage them, and it was impossible to scale them. So at one moment, they decided to switch to Toloka and use its abilities for automation and on-demand scaling. And that allowed them to actually achieve the results of almost 5,000 documents processed every day. Every document processed within like 6 to 8 minutes totally, including the human efforts for that. And that was the final solution was like 50% cheaper than their previous in-house solution, and also much more scalable. And when I am sharing these very different use cases, I hope that they can illustrate the large variety and the flexibility of the power of the crowd that you can use. And the good news is that there are practically 6 steps that you need to do in order to construct almost any pipeline and solve almost any use case that can come to your mind. If you know how to decompose the task into a set of smaller steps and pieces, if you write comprehensive and clear instructions to the Tolokers, if you create a comfortable interface, set up the quality controls using the tools and methods that Toloka provides, set up the pricing using our methods for motivating people trying harder and obtaining higher payments for higher quality, and aggregating the results using the mathematical methods of aggregating labels, which are also built in within the Toloka platform. then at the end you will get a super effective, super scalable, and high quality, stable process that can easily be integrated into the part of your machine learning production process. However, we understand that not all the people really have time to follow all these 6 steps. All the people are short in time and would like to have to be able to spend less efforts on setting the data labeling process. And that's why we have recently launched our new service, which is called Toloka Apps, which actually removes the efforts for creating the interfaces, setting up all the quality controls, deciding on the optimal pricing, taking care of aggregating the results, and etc. from the requester. Like everything of that is done under the hood of the product of Toloka Apps. We use our expertise in order to set up the optimal interfaces, all the best practices to set up all the needed quality controls, and building the multi-step pipelines to ensure the best quality. And practically the only things that the requester needs to do is to bring the data set and write the guidelines for the Talokers. And I would show you several case studies of how our clients solved their problems using the Toloka apps, and then we will move towards the real life demo to illustrate you how it actually works. So the Toloka app works like that. We have our crowd solution architects who have already designed the optimal pipelines, which include the efforts of in-house experts who provide the benchmark labels, the crowd who provides all the labels, and the automation if it is applicable and needed in order to improve the quality and the speed of the labeling. So the first case study is one of the online travel agencies needed to set up the price monitoring for the goods of their products. And the task was like to look at the screenshots of the sites of different providers of these goods and to extract some information from the screenshots. And this task was done within several hours, like several thousand labels were collected within 5 hours with very high quality of 94%, paying several dollars, several cents per label. The second case is the one of the major electronics retailer companies. They needed to solve actually a very standard use case of search relevance evaluation. Like practically every e-commerce right now needs to improve their search engines because the majority of the products are now bought from like after people are searching for the certain product in the search. So now everybody is taking care to improve the search algorithms. And the task is quite standard, and we have the app already fine-tuned for this search relevance tasks. For example, 2,000 labels were collected within 11 hours with the 98% quality using our specific app of search quality relevance evaluation. And another case study is related to computer vision and image segmentation using the polygons. One of the mobile phone manufacturers needed to collect large amounts of data for computer vision, and they have collected their data set within a couple of days with very good quality of 93.5%. And so I would not bother you with any more use cases. I hope that was enough or even more than enough. What I wanted to illustrate you on these 19 different use cases is that actually the crowdsourcing is a tool for effective collecting labels, which can apply it not only for data labeling, but also for not only for machine learning use cases, but also in many other business cases. And once you learn how to cook it, and once you feel how you can use it in different domains, you can actually apply it in a very large variety of use cases. And Toloka provides both instruments and methodology for setting up these processes. We recommend you to visit our site on toloka.ai/academy. There are interesting things and special offers for the startups and grants for the research if you're interested in this topic. We are investing a lot actually into development of the fundamental methodology of managing the crowd, and we are publishing our papers on the top scientific conferences and organizing the events. We welcome you to join our efforts in the scientific research if it is interesting for you. Here is the promo code. It will be sent to you as a follow-up letter. You all are very welcome to try our platform within the nearest months. The promo code will be active so that you can try it by yourself. And before you try, I would like to share with you the real-life demo of how it actually works. I'm passing the microphone to David. David, are you with us?
Yes, hi Olga, thank you for this comprehensive presentation and really interesting use cases. My name is David and I'm part of Toloka's business development group, and I will show you a live demo of an image classification project. So let me share the screen. Yeah, so we have a project page that illustrates the different tools that we use in order to label. And in this page, you can see that we have 12 task pages. So we can go ahead and start the pool, and we will now show you a live labeling. So basically, when the pool starts, live performers will see the task in front of them, and they can actually start to label. And while this is loading, we can show a preview of how the task looks to the performer. So this is a really nice case of image classification. So basically, the performer needs to determine whether he sees a dog or a cat in the picture. So for example, here. And if we go back to the pool, we can see already that the pool is started, and we now see that already people have picked up this task and are working on that. So another thing that is important is the control tasks that we have, and the control tasks are one of the most important instruments in order to determine the quality of the project. So we usually call them also honeypots, and we mix them between the real tasks in order to get a sample of the data that eventually will determine the quality of the project. Further down, you can see that we have the pool statistics. So basically, we have now more than 9,000 people active that have access to the pool, and we can see average submit time and how much money it costs, the approximate budget that is used to this specific project containing 14 tasks. So now if we refresh the page, we can see that the pool is almost done. So only 2 active assignments, and 10 of them already accepted. And if we go further down, we can see the pool summary, that basically the price per task page, the amount of time that we give to each performer to perform the task. Overlap enables us to determine through majority that several people are working on the same task. and judgment with the highest quality confidence is taken into consideration. On the right, you can see how we choose the performers. So basically, we can do this task on a web version, on Toloka for mobile, and the language that is used for this task is English. And here we can see the control task that we use in order to maintain the high quality. So basically, we have the ability to ban users that do not hold this standard. And the last thing is the smart mixing. So in every task page, you have 5 tasks. 4 of them are the main task, and 1 is the control task. Basically, the performer doesn't know whether he's performing a real task or a control task, and the control task is something that we know in advance the correct answer to. So basically, we can, in that sense, determine the quality of the entire project. So let's just refresh it one more time to see if it's finished. So we still have 2 active assignments, meaning that performers are not 2 performers are not done with their task, but we can see already that the statistics are picked up here. So on average, 15 seconds took to every performer to perform this task page that we see right here. And we can see the approximate money that is spent and the forecast for when these two annotators will finish their labeling. So we see only 1 that is still in the pool, still performing the task. And usually when we get to 90 seconds, basically on the task, we can see that this is finished. But we can go ahead and now already view the assignments that were done. So basically accepted assignments, we can see that the responses for them. So for example, you can see that this was done rather correctly. Yes, this is the cat and a dog. And we can go back and the pool is finished. And after the pool is finished, you can download the results. You can aggregate it to different models that we use, David Skin, for example. And you can take this data and use it to train your algorithm to determine automatically whether the picture contains a cat or a dog. And I hope you enjoyed the demo. I hope I show you how easy it is to run your first project, and we encourage you to do that. So I will pass the torch to Anna, and she will tell you a bit more on how we can stay connected and how we can help you with your data labeling projects.
Thank you very much, David. Basically, yes, so since we finished with our presentation and demonstration, we can go ahead with the Q&A session. So if any of you have any question, please just unmute yourself or write down the questions in the chat box. And meanwhile, I would like to ask you, I will start a short poll here in the Zoom. So if you have just like a minute or 2 to answer the questions as well. And meanwhile, we are waiting for your questions. Please don't be shy and feel free to ask if you want something to know. Anyone?
Yeah, I'd have one question. Thank you
Yes.
for your time. So this one's for Olga. So Olga, let's say, I mean, I got an understanding of the labeling platform, but let's say you're dealing with some specific high-tech skill use case, right? Let's say medical annotation, right? You would need people with some sort of a background in medicine to be doing that. So how do you deal with such use cases? Do you have a bunch of folks who already have medical expertise in there, or just wondering how you
Thanks
deal
for
with
the
that?
question. There are actually different use cases that we practice. For example, one use case is when the requester comes with like they have several experts on their side, but they need to scale up for the production of medical labeling. So we let them we place their annotators to use Toloka tools, for example, to label the ground truth. And then, for example, it would be like the 10% of the whole labeling amount. And then the 90% of the labeling amount is sent to the crowd and benchmarked according to this ground truth. And this is how we can scale the production, basing on the experts from the side of the requester. Another case is actually we are partnering with several providers of medical experts. I think that if you have some particular use case, we would need to decide on that, discuss the particular case, because the medical expertise can be different, and it may be either relevant to your case or not. But we have groups of relevant experts, some relevant experts within Toloka already. So this is the second option when the customers can rely on our experts. And the third option is actually decomposing and formalizing the task so that some of the steps would not require actually any specific expertise, rather like a specific, medical background, because for example, if we train people effectively to detect certain shape of certain, places in an image, and for example, draw it with the polygons, in some cases, this is enough to provide the good quality and high accuracy of the labeling, even by the people who are not supported with medical background.
Right. I think that answers it. So, I run a data labeling startup myself, and I try to follow the same approach in terms of crowdsourcing. But of course, we don't have a sophisticated tool like you have, right? Your platform is really good, but we try to do it in a more offline coordination way with just a labeling platform. So yeah, I was just curious as to how you would manage expert labelers requirement.
Yeah, thank you. So there are those three types of options.
Yeah, yeah, got that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a question in the chat. Do you work with many startups to help them with data labeling? Olga, could you please answer?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I would say yes. There are actually two major types of our clients. One are big companies who have very mature and sophisticated pipelines for machine learning production, and they use Toloka as a platform which they integrate into their machine learning production pipelines using our APIs and its infrastructural nature. And the other big cluster of our clients are actually startups, and we understand that in the startups, people usually do not have as big and highly developed infrastructure. On the other hand, they are usually quite short of time. They need to very fast obtain some results, and for them, the Toloka Apps solutions, where you only need to bring the data set and take back the labeled data, we find it the more optimal for the startups. So yeah, and the share of the startups within our customers is increasing, and we have given the special pricing offer for the startups. So you're very welcome to join us.
Thank you, Olga, for your answer. Any other questions, maybe? We have some more time to answer your questions. Meanwhile, I would like to also invite you to join our Slack community. You can see in the screen the QR code that you can use so that you can open the Slack channel. You can find there many interesting information about our methodology, our events, about our new features and so on. So you're very welcome to join and be in touch with us. Olga, David, would you like to say maybe some last words before we close our session for today?
I want just to thank all the people who came to join the meeting and hope that some of these use cases, we hope that we managed to inspire you with some of the use cases which you could find useful for your needs. Please don't hesitate to contact us if you have anything to discuss.
Yes, contact us and we can help you with your different use cases. We will be glad to do that and just to chat and see how Toloka can help you. So
thank you very much. And I would like to say one last thing, that this recording we will send to you with a follow-up email, and also there will be included the promo code that we showed you before, and instructions how to use it and how to find our platform. So if there is no more question, there are no more questions, I would like to thank you, all of you. Have a very good evening or day, and hope to see you again in our next events. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.